Okay, so I have an image here open in Photoshop and we're going to do some clipping masks with text. Okay, so I'm going to start by making a text box. So T for text here, okay, and I'm going to click once on my screen. So you can see it's quite small at the moment. So I'm just going to type piece. Okay, it doesn't matter what color it is, but for argument's sake, I'm just going to make it white. So my contextual taskbar that follows me around here will allow me to change the color. Also on the top of my screen, I'll have the option to edit that text. I'm going to change my font to maybe Impact, just because I know it's a nice chunky font. And this drop down will only let me go to like 300, but I can also type in then. I can go, if I want to go to 600, for example, I can do so. The move tool will allow me to move this. And also another way to resize is to drag from the corners, like so. Okay. The next thing I want to do is I want to make a color fill for the background. So I'm going to go plus to make a new layer, and I'm going to double click on that and I'm going to call it color. Okay. And to give that a color, I need to change my fill color, my foreground color. So I double click on that and I can either choose a color from here, for example, or if I hover over my image, it'll allow me to pick a color. It's like as if it drops a color. So I'm going to go for like that color or maybe that color and press OK. That's like a black. Okay, so it hasn't given it that color yet. I have to instruct it to do that. So I go Edit, Fill, make sure this is foreground color and press OK. So at the moment I'm in the wrong order. So in order to change the order of these layers, I need to unlock this layer. Color needs to be at the bottom, the image on top and the text in the middle. So you're kind of making like a text sandwich. And then all we do is we right click, create clipping mask. Okay, a shortcut is also hold down your Alt key, hover, and you'll get this icon to remove or to add the clipping mask. So it's done a lovely job here. If I changed my mind about the background color, all I do is select that layer, again double click on my foreground color and then go Edit, Fill and foreground color. Okay. Now let's just say I wanted to edit my text. I can double click on the T for text, it highlights it, and then it brings this bar below, and also it brings up my options on top. So if I wanted to, for example, go for Arial, okay, I think that, yes, there we go, it's just a bit slow. So for example, there we go, and then I might want to change the size of it, we'll say to 700 maybe. Okay. Now, if it is a thing I go to move this, what happens is it moves the image inside, okay? So let's just say I'm happy with the position of the image with the text, okay? But I want to be able to move the whole lot up the page. If I hold Shift, click, click, so I select these two layers together, holding Shift will allow me to select both, and then I right click, I can link layers. So you can see there's a little chain link there. Now my graphics are taking a little bit of time to catch up, but sometimes yeah, there we go, sometimes you will have a little bit of an issue with graphics, but it is working. Okay, lastly, let's just say I want to apply a stroke and a drop shadow to my text. I double click on, well actually I have two ways of doing this. I can double click on the space beside the word piece, okay, or I can go down here to FX and click on stroke. Okay, now I need to make sure stroke is highlighted here. Okay, to change my color, or I can choose a color from my picture if I wish. Okay, and then I can adjust the size. Okay, but you won't see those options unless stroke is highlighted. I also want to apply a drop shadow again, and avoid using the pluses. I want to apply a drop shadow. I can change my angle. Just watch what's happening in the preview as you do that. Okay, I want to bring down my opacity a little bit. I want to bring down my size. bring down my spread, and suddenly I have a nice drop shadow there. And again, if I turn on and off my stroke, turn on and off my drop shadow, I can see how that has worked.